record. All right, let's get going. Thank you everyone for joining us. We are excited to present a new opportunity. I'm here with Devin and Trent, and we've got Nez here as well. AJ is joining us from Bend, Oregon, and we're very excited to present this opportunity. I'm going to let Devin kind of start us off and introduce the team, and we'll get going.
Perfect. Yeah, AJ, I think most of you know, born in Portland, went to University of Washington. We try not to hold that against him, in a bachelor's science and mechanical engineering. He's got 20 plus years in the contracting and project manager business, and he's co-founder with Chris Shepard of Uptown Properties, managing 500 plus units.
Oh, it's a little more now.
More now, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, AJ is one of the founders. We're, a couple of brothers excited to
I'll let you talk about yourself.
Yeah, I love talking about myself. Yeah, AJ and I started investing in real estate in 2006, and we started Uptown Properties in 2011. But we started investing together actually in 2009, and we kind of have taken all of those experiences, starting flipping a single home, building up a small single family home portfolio, into redeveloping and improving apartment complexes. And it's awesome to be here. Almost 15 years later. So Trent, go ahead and chat about yourself.
I'm also from Portland area, born and raised, Southwest Portland specifically. I've been with Uptown in some capacity for 5.5 years now. Been in real estate for 6.5. Recently got my principal broker's license and own 11 units, or ownership in 11 units. And I've been doing asset management with Uptown Syndication for almost 2 years now.
All right, it's my turn. I was also born and raised in Portland, Oregon. I started my career back in my early 20s as a commercial real estate broker at North Beggs and Simpson. Following that, went to Cushman Wakefield and then worked for a developer at Intrinsic Ventures, primarily focusing on industrial property sales and leasing. I've done some nonprofit work and some other things. And I had a property management company down in Aspen, Colorado, that I owned for about 4 years until I got recruited back up here to Portland. And I've been with Uptown now for about 7 months. So I'm the new guy, and my role is the investment manager. So I'm in charge of all the communication and making sure everyone's getting their questions answered as should. And just trying to help out any way I can with the team and make it as seamless as possible.
Yeah, definitely Pepper Devin with questions.
I need it.
And ask him the hard ones.
They're my favorite.
Nez, you want to do your bio?
Hey, yep. Hi everyone, I'm Nez, and I'm not from Oregon, I'm from Philippines. And I'm working with Uptown since 2021. So usually I assist with the overall admin support. Yeah.
And she runs the podcast for us and is absolutely amazing. Just all of the amazing work you do in the background is incredible. Thank you, Nez.
Team Rockstar is what we call it.
Okay. Well, we picked out a couple deals that are pretty similar to this one that we've done before. So our first syndication we bought in 2019, kind of a mix of different units. You can see some of the photos here of the upgrades that we did to this property in Tualatin. We are going to be doing a little bit of a lighter remodel at this property at 15065 Southeast East. Maybe laminate countertops and maybe lower grade flooring, just to save on the budget. But we do have this property on Southwest 68th for sale, and it's probably going to be a 20% IRR if we're able to sell it. Unfortunately, we chose a very rough time to be selling apartments in the past year with interest rates rising. But we are going to do a great job of that. We have it listed for 2 million. Should be able to sell it for 1.95, and that will be a home run for our investors on that one. Another similar deal. This is 21 units, garden style, really close to 217 and Denny. With this particular one of my favorite things that we did was we added a fence for each unit. So every unit has its own personal backyard. And we've been able to charge a lot more pet rent. And it cut down on our landscaping costs as well. So that was a fun value add. This has been one of our most successful properties. Beaverton's done really well in the past 3 or 4 years. So, and then last one, just another 12-unit property. We closed on this exactly 1 year ago. Today is what, the 12th? I think that we closed on this June 14th. I just got the email from escrow saying congratulations, 12-month anniversary. Similar, a little farther out on the east side, but great neighborhood, great location. The home values in the Happy Valley area is very similar to Milwaukie, very desirable place to live. So we've done 4 or 5 other syndications of different shapes and sizes, and these 3 were the ones that we thought were the best ones to represent this deal. Yeah, Devin, why don't you introduce the company and some of the benefits of working with Uptown?
Yeah, currently we manage about 800 units. We have a staff of 20 and still growing as we speak. So it's been pretty exciting to see manage 4 apartment complexes that are above 50 units. So we have a good experience with the higher volume as well as the lower volume, and managed an owned portfolio of 300 plus units at 95% occupancy. So we've had great success with those staff of 20, and our team is fantastic here. So we're very proud of those numbers. And the construction company, we're also a vertically integrated construction company along with property management. We have 4 employees in the construction side of things. And amongst those 4, they have a huge network of subs that we're able to tap into. So that allows us to really act quickly when something goes wrong, and also allows us, being vertically integrated, to make sure that the investors' best interests are in mind, our best interests are in mind, and we can just really monitor that we're being on top of our expenses and whatnot. So that's been a big value add, being vertically integrated. And we've completed, and I'm sure it's probably even higher than this, but over 10,000 work orders over the course of 8 years, and that number is growing as well.
Exciting times. Okay, let's talk about the deal. Yeah, Trent, do you want to take us away on the deal?
Sure. Yeah. So like Chris mentioned, Milwaukie, Oregon, 12 apartment units and a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house that can be converted, hopefully, into a 3-bedroom house.
We've got a little typo on the address. It's 15065. So yeah, I'll just make that edit here real quick. There we go.
While he does that, I'll keep going.
There we go.
Built in 1940, so it's a little bit older construction, but all the units are good size. The house is in good shape, and it's in, like Chris said, it's in a great, desirable location in Milwaukie. Milwaukee's been a very hot suburb of Portland over the last 5 to 7 years, and we're excited about this deal.
Yeah, there's been a little migration out of Multnomah County into Washington and Clackamas. And so that's one of the benefits of this apartment complex. It as well, it is currently 100% occupied. Here is an aerial of the complex. There is a little extra land over here on the, what is that going to be, the north side of the property. But duplex, triplex, 4-plex units. It's a great opportunity. And as you can see, it's pretty close in terms of very close to a grocery store. And
yeah,
did I start recording? I did.
Yeah. And I was gonna say too, it's right, if you're not familiar with Milwaukee, it's right off McLaughlin, which is kind of the main artery through.
Yeah.
And so it's just the location is great. You've got a ton of amenities, not only in walking distance, but you have bus lines. Then you also have 99, you have 99 East, you have 205, you have 225 that can take you easily into Clackamas, it can take you in Oregon City, it can take you to downtown Portland, so, or the Selwood neighborhood. So as Portland's people are kind of getting out of that downtown, they want kind of that amenities of urban living, but they want the livability of suburban. And that's what kind of this offers. It's just outside skirts. And it's not new that Milwaukee's been growing. It's been growing for quite some time.
Yeah.
And the demand is there. I mean, the medium home prices are about 575, right around there. So there's a big demand without a lot of supply, and being right in the heart of it.
It's a good location.
Yeah.
It's close to the river too. So, you know, and these are like class C plus apartments. So it's affordable. And yeah, Milwaukee is a great spot. I own a fourplex in Milwaukee, and the rents are in their 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Rents are either 1,500 or 1,600 a month at those units. So yeah, here's some more photos of the property, and here is the house. We're going to convert that to a 3-bedroom, possibly a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It depends how much work that's going to be. But we are raising $350,000 for the construction budget, just to make sure that the investment is well funded. Here's some more photos. This is kind of a classic kitchen. We're going to be trying to keep as many cabinets as we can. One thing that we found is that once you start replacing new cabinets or putting in new cabinets, the construction budgets get pretty expensive. It's new cabinets mean new countertops, new flooring, everything. Yeah, the labor costs just kind of increase a lot. Yeah, Devin already kind of nailed Milwaukee is great. I'm a big fan of it. I own a fourplex there. And here are the deal specifics. Another little typo. We've got it's 2-bedroom, 1-bath units, and then the house is currently a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, but there's a lot of extra space in the house. Yeah, 1.675 million, 128K a door. One thing that we do love is the 1% rule, and average market rents, are very close to the 1% rule here. And, well, actually, no, it exceeds the 1% rule with the cost per door at 128K per unit, because we're able to get $1,500 a month in rent once we renovate and lease it out to a new unit. One of the reasons why the investment is, I guess, a little bit, it could be an even higher IRR if all of the tenants moved out, but that is not we can only increase rents by 10% per year. So we're going to be going up to 1,100, and then 1,225, and then 1,350. And so we'll be lagging market rents unless tenants move out. Then we'll get in there and renovate, and that will increase the property value quite a bit. There's an opportunity to convert a storage area into a unit as well. We'll be looking into that opportunity. And yeah. Trent, Devin, anything else about the property specifics?
Okay. Other than the good,
There's on-site laundry. So we'll get a lease with a company in there, Point Meter or another, to get that laundry income going. Okay. All right, the value add. We did mention a little bit of the value add, but Trent, do you want to go over kind of our bread and butter value add opportunities in terms of what we do when we acquire a property and how we implement rent increases and rubs and improve, and how we choose what to prove or to improve.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, this is pretty much right up our alley in terms of our value add plan, especially on past assets that we own. Before I get going, there is a typo again. The RUBS notices, which is part of our value add plan, will not take effect June 28th. There is a 94-day notice that goes out, but those will be sent on June 28th, which is what that was supposed to say. So bread and butter for us, we immediately pass RUBS off, ratio utility billing system, so the tenants will get billed back for utilities, take that expense off of our plate or most of that expense off of our plate, as well as like Chris mentioned, the rents are slightly below market right now, and so we will put rent increases into effect as soon as we can as well. In terms of construction, we plan on deferred maintenance like any property that's a little bit older. And any property that we see in this condition, there's probably going to be some deferred maintenance. And we also, on this project, are going to try to keep construction costs minimal with, more affordable flooring, keeping cabinets, laminate countertops, that sort of thing. The other thing that we've done on past projects, specifically this size, if there is on-site laundries, we revamp the laundry room to try to maximize the revenue and the income from laundry. We did it, I think, on 4 separate properties just last year alone, and we've already seen the benefits from that. So definitely upping that laundry room as soon as we get going as well. And then, just unit turns as they come available, as well as getting the curb appeal up on this project, improving the landscaping, making sure it's kept nice and clean, and then, fixing any exterior deferred maintenance as well.
Okay.
You want to talk about, because you mentioned on King, the backyards?
Well,
Or is it?
yeah,
Oh, skip it.
specifically, if we go back to the aerial, you throughout, around the back of the property, there's an opportunity. Every unit has a back door. So there's an opportunity to add private yards, and specifically for the house as well. We all have, well, Trent and I have pets. Devin, do you have a
I did, but she's no longer with us.
rest in peace? But we all love animals, and animals are great for these types of apartment complex because they mean extra revenue, and that's phenomenal. So we want to promote pet ownership, and it also opens up the renter pool, so it actually makes it easier to rent the unit specifically because we do allow pets. There are complexes that don't allow pets, and
And you mentioned before it saves cost on landscaping.
yep, as well. So that is something that we're excited to add value to. Here's an example of some of the types of improvements that we'll make. This construction budget is not finalized, but yeah, adding a garbage enclosure, landscaping cleanup, all of these items will definitely be, some of them will be included, some of them will not be needed. We'll dial in the construction budget a little bit more over the next couple days. Here's the rentometer report. You can see average rent is $15.45. And yeah, it's a great opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these are some comps.
There wasn't a lot to choose from because
Yeah.
there's very little inventory.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of crazy how little vacancy there is. We got trends in apartment rents. One thing is, rents haven't increased that much, but inflation has gone up significantly. So that's one of the reasons why I think it's a phenomenal time to buy apartments right now, is that we haven't seen the rent increase from this round of inflation, and it's kind of lagging behind a little bit.
Hmm.
And there's been a lot of construction, apartment construction, and a lot of new units were delivered and are being delivered right now. But in the future, in 2025, 2026, 2027, deliveries are essentially going down to zero. And so all of the new units are currently being absorbed, and we're kind of bottoming out the cycle. And then we'll be back on our way up. There's going to be an undersupply, and prices will increase. So that's one of the reasons why we think it's a great time to be buying apartments. And the credit cycle is really tight too. It's very tough to get a loan, and that makes it so there's fewer buyers. And so it kind of, we're at a little bit of a competitive advantage to be able to acquire apartments during this difficult time. So we're excited to do the deal. Okay, we've got our P&L. So the first year or so, our plan is to refinance this property at 15 months after we're able to implement 2 rent increases. So for the first year, we're expecting very little cash flow. And so that means that there probably isn't going to be a preferred return that gets paid out in the first year or two, or during that first 15 months. There will be a large cash flow that comes from the refinance.
Yeah, and those preferred returns will accrue.
Yeah, Devin, why don't you talk about the benefit of the preferred return, even if we're not able to pay the preferred return out of the cash flow?
Yeah, if we can't pay it out of the cash flow, it doesn't go away. It simply just gets accrued onto. So when we do have that cash flow, we call what's called a catch up, and then we catch up to that.
Yeah, but the other benefit of the preferred return is that the sponsors, Uptown Syndication, we're not taking any fees or promote out of everything up to the preferred return. So that 7% preferred return gets paid out 100%. There's no split.
Yeah,
on that.
and you get paid first. You're first in that water.
Absolutely. So we're not taking any cash out of the investment or any promote.
And that keeps
until that preferred return.
And that keeps our motivation to get the stabilized as fast as possible. And it just keeps us all in the same, so we all win. We want to get that money back as soon as possible.
Yeah. We're very motivated to make the property be successful. And so that's why we pay 100% of the first 7%. Okay. So in our underwriting, we projected to refinance at the end of year 2. The plan is to refinance after that second rent increase has gone through. So that's going to be around 15 to 18 months. And then at that point, we're projecting a valuation of about 2.1 million, which I think is very reasonable. And then out of the 705,000, we will be returning about 300,000 to investors. So that's a little, I think it's 43%. It gets us into a better long-term loan, and that's so at about a year and a half, should be getting around 40% of the initial investment returned. Actually, we'll catch up any preferred returns, and then the capital balance will be figured out after that. Okay. So this is what it looks like from the investment standpoint, and the cash flows. So cash flow of 301,000, and then and so that's in year 2, and then year 3, $16,000 in cash flow paid out to investors, $35,000 of the preferred return, and then year 4 cash flow of 131,000. and the net proceeds of 679. And so it comes out to a 20% IRR. And oops. Yeah, you can see that it's a payout of about 115,000 as the total return. So for a $100,000 investment.
There's one more on the sheet.
Okay.
It was cut off at that thing, but it's about a 2.2. So
Okay,
122,000.
2.2x.
Yeah.
Okay, 7% preferred return, profit split 60-40. After that 7% preferred return. And then there's another waterfall above a 15% IRR. It goes to 50-50. And we're raising $350,000 for the construction budget. We want to make sure that the investment is very well capitalized. We don't want to run out of cash. And so we're over raising on the construction budget. If we wanted to be more aggressive and juice the IRR, we could raise less money. But we just don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we've got plenty of cash in the bank for any types of what ifs. Trent, do you want to talk about how long the value add project will take?
Yeah, so I mean, with the target range to refinance in month 15 to 18, I think our target for the value add is probably going to be 12 to 15 months.
Yeah, so it'll be perfect timing for the refinance. Cool. Devin, what's the anticipated time period?
Yeah, like I said, we're planning on refinancing around 15 to 18 months. And then hoping, about a sale after about year 5. And, depending on the market conditions, we want to do obviously what's best for everybody involved. So at that time, but the game plan is around 5 years to go ahead and dispose of the property. And, but yeah, we'll obviously, markets can change, but that's the game plan.
Yeah, the way that I'm seeing the market right now is that we're very near the bottom. And it'll be very exciting times as we get on, like, cresting the way up. And my hope will be that we'll be able to buy and sell, a syndication like this and 1031 up into possibly 2, maybe 3 different investments with this same group. So, over the course, I would expect the cycle to be 8 to 10 years on the way up. And my hope would be that we would be able to sell this property, buy another one, then sell that property, and then buy another one, all on the upswing of that
Tax
cycle.
benefits along the way.
Yeah, and watching the capital grow. Obviously, if anyone wants out of the investment on sale, and pay the taxes, then we're absolutely able to drop anybody out if they want out. But what I love is just being able to use this group as a vehicle and aggressively grow capital over that period of time. But for each like leg, we expect it to be 3 to 5 years. And if things go great on the property, it's probably going to be closer to 3 years. When will I start seeing distributions? If cash flow allows quarterly, based on these numbers, we're probably going to be waiting till after the refinance.
And again, they accrue immediately though. So it accrues immediately, but paid out will be as soon as we can catch up with the cash flow.
Absolutely. So, how many of these projects have we completed? We did our first syndication in 2019. That was the Southwest 68th property. We really wish we sold that in 2022, but hindsight is 2020. And yeah, so we've got that up for sale. We have another property up for sale too. It's just it's a difficult time to get, you know, a retail minus price for an apartment that is cash flowing really nicely. Estimated time to stabilize occupancy. So the property is already stabilized. You know, cycling through some of the existing tenants, that does take about 2 years. So if, you know, as we acquire property, we implement our leases, we have our community rules, and you know, a lot of times like that kind of rubs the existing tenants the wrong way, and they decide to move, and that allows us to renovate a unit and you know, raise rents from 1,000 to 1,500.
Back
So
to market.
that's an opportunity for us. Obviously, we don't want to force anybody out of their home, but we run a professional management company and are very clear about our communication and the rules. And so one of the things is that this property was managed by a, you know, just kind of a family, is a family investment. And you know, sometimes they're pretty relaxed in the way that they manage property.
And one other benefit is that we having the vertical integrated side with the property management, everything is we have a very good screening process for the new tenants coming in.
Yep.
And that really does create good longevity for the way they take care of the property, for the community rules and all of that. So that's kind of another benefit of being in control of that part of it, as we can really enhance our screening process to make sure we're getting the right people in.
Okay. At this point, I think we're going to open it up for any questions that anybody might have. Does anybody have a question?
I don't have any questions, but I think it's awesome you found a property that the rents are so under market.
You know, it's a blessing and a curse. You know, my expectation is that they're so under market that the tenants will, you know, have no plans on moving out. And so it's going to be very difficult to get it up to market. I mean, if rents keep increasing, you know, at 5% and like market rent is 1,500, then, you know, come year 5, rents will probably be what is that, like 1,900, 1,900, and at 1,000, like we're, you know, at 10% a year, we're not able to actually get it up to market rent. And so, you know, it's super tough to get it, but then that leaves upside for the buyer. So, you know, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a business that can raise the rent 10% every year, or prices every 10%.
Indeed. Cool. Devin, do you have any questions?
Why don't you just explain how we got the property? I mean,
Yeah. So this was brought to us by Ben Murphy. What is his new company? I think it's I cannot remember the new company name, but essentially he's like, I think this would be a great deal for you. And they put it out to like 5 or 6 potential buyers, and we won out. So
it's a good off-market deal.
Pretty well, small pool.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's right up our alley, and I think that
I think it's like similar to some of the ones we've done before, so that, you know,
Mhm.
allows us to be pretty confident in our projections and what to expect. I mean, obviously every property is different, but I think, you know, doing very similar properties gives us a good.
Yeah,
good outcome.
I guess one thing, we got into contract on this property at 1.825 million. And then through the inspection period, we essentially based on the condition of the property, like every single unit is pretty classic, and some of them have a little bit of mold in them. And so, you know, we're going to get in there and do the renovations, but we were able to negotiate $150,000 off the price
And
because of the condition.
what's the desired close date? Can you remind
Well,
We're in a little tight.
yes.
Tight window here.
We're planning on closing at the end of the month, so that's June 28th. It is a relatively small raise. So I expect we'll get there. And yeah, the reason, so our initial close date was going to be July 10th, but there are some new insurance regulations that are going into effect with our preferred insurance provider on July 1st. And so essentially we wouldn't be able to use American Family Insurance, which they're the most competitive pricing in the market and great insurance. So in order to be able to get that policy, I guess, grandfathered in, we want to close before those new guidelines go in. So that's why we're pushing for June 28th.
Any other questions from anyone out there?
All right. Well,
We
thank you everyone
yeah,
for
we
attending.
appreciate your time, and feel free to pepper me with the hard questions, as Chris said. And
definitely test
if
Devin's
I
knowledge.
don't know, I'll go find out. And it definitely helps me as I'm trying to wrap my hands around this great company and all the great team we work with.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Nez. Thanks, Trent. Thank you, Devin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I will stop the recording.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Yep. Thank you.